Heroism in Namibia has evolved quite significantly during and pre-independence and post-independence periods. So before independence, heroism was closely linked to the struggle for freedom from colonial rule, categorized by acts of resistance against oppression. And then figures such as Hendrik Witbooi and Samuel Maharelo exemplified early resistance leaders. So post-independence, the concept of heroism has expanded to include those who contribute to nation building, economic development, and preservation of peace and stability, as well as the individualism or individuals in our lives, such as our parents, to ensure that we successfully pursue our academic careers.
In the Namibian context, what cultural or societal values are mostly associated with being considered a hero?
Okay, in the Namibian context, and perhaps more so for Heroes' Day commemoration, heroism is linked to values such as bravery, sacrifice, patriotism, and selflessness. And remember that people took up arms to fight for independence, which they were not even 100% sure they would achieve. Therefore, heroes are often celebrated for their commitment to the greater good, their resilience in the face of great challenges, and their unwavering dedication to nation's cause.
Now, what criteria are used to determine who is honored as a national hero? Are these criteria consistent or have they changed over time?
Okay, so the criteria for determining who is honored as a national hero in Namibia have generally included significant contributors to the liberation struggle, given the history of our country. And then leadership in times of crisis and acts of extraordinary courage. So while these criteria have remained largely consistent, there has been an increased recognition of contributors in various fields, such as in education, health, and community service, reflecting a broader understanding of heroism. And we also have an artist, Zakaria Kalunga, well known as Kalux, who was honored with a street that was named after him in Osho. So in as much as there's a lot of heroes associated with the fight for independence, especially those coming from the period of pre-independence, we also have people that are being recognized currently, such as the artist that I mentioned now, Zakaria Kalunga, who is known as Kalux.
Now, many of Namibia's heroes are associated with the liberation struggle, as you mentioned. Can you highlight some key figures from this period and explain why they are referred to as national heroes?
Okay, so I mean it's a long list. We'll not be able to mention all of them, but key figures from Namibia's liberation struggle can include Antibatavia Trevo, the leader of the SWAPO party and an anti-apartheid activist. We have Anton Lubowski, a lawyer and human rights advocate, and then Anna Mungunda, a brave woman who played a significant role in the old location resistance and was the first Namibian woman to be recognized as the national matter. And these individuals referred as national heroes for their roles in the fight against colonial rule and apartheid, and their leadership in the struggle, as well as their sacrifices for the nation's freedom. So those are just a few things that get mentioned now. There's a lot of people who have contributed to the shape of Namibia and what we have today in different aspects of their lives.
Now, Haitula, you are a historian. Now, are there individuals or groups who played a crucial role in the struggle for independence but have not received widespread recognition as heroes? What might be the reasons for this?
Okay, there are indeed individuals and groups whose contribution to the independence struggle has not received widespread recognition. And this may be due to various reasons, including their lower profiles, the focus on more prominent leaders, or historical circumstances that led to their contributions being overlooked. So recognizing these individuals is important for a comprehensive understanding of Namibia's history, and sometimes there isn't even enough space and time, which is something also relevant here. There is not enough time nor space to talk about all the heroes and heroines that contributed to the liberation struggle. I mean, even if I were to mention the few that I know, there won't be enough time to record everything. And sometimes that's the challenge that we see either in academic books or public discourse on the radio, in the newspapers. Sometimes there is a challenge with including everyone in the spaces that are available. So this then makes it difficult for other figures to also be visible, and also to just create the necessary spaces that are needed to have everyone present.
Okay, now how has the definition of a hero expanded in the post-independence era? Are there contemporary figures who you believe will be remembered as heroes in the future?
I think in the past, in post-independence era, the definition of a hero has broadened to include those who contribute to the nation in various capacities. And contemporary figures in fields like education, healthcare, environmental, increasingly being recognized for their heroic contributions. And figures such as Dr. Helena Ndume, known for her work in treating blindness, could be remembered as heroes in the future. And as well as example that I gave of Kalux, who has a street named after him in the town where he came from. So there's a lot of prominent figures or contemporary figures that will definitely be remembered in the near years to come. The same way we remember a lot of heroes now for their contribution during the liberation struggle. There is also people that are making contributions now, either in education, healthcare, entertainment industry, and all of that. So yeah, it's definitely changing.
Okay. Now, Haitula, in many countries, the status of certain historical figures as heroes is debated. Has this been the case in Namibia? If so, could you share some examples and the nature of these debates?
Okay, so in the Namibian context, and it's just like in many other countries, there have been debates about the status of certain historical figures as heroes. And those debates often revolve around the interpretation of their actions and the impacts of those actions on different segments of society. And for example, the legacy of figures like Hendrik Witbooi, who signed treaties with colonial powers, have been debated, though he's still largely revered for his resistance efforts. So yeah, it's still happening here in Namibia, and I think it's something that will keep happening for a long period to come still, in terms of the debate about who is a true hero and who is not a true hero. I think it also depends on your personal views and beliefs, and in terms of who do you regard as a hero, and the actions that they take. Do they benefit you as an individual, or do they hamper your progress in life as well? So those are some of the items or criteria that we look at when we are deciding who is a hero and who isn't a hero for oneself.
Now, in terms of re-evaluation of heroism, do you think there will be a re-evaluation of who is considered a hero in Namibia as the country continues to develop and change? What factors might drive such re-evaluation?
Okay, so if we look at the way things are done, history has shown us that those in power usually write a story that benefits them. And as Namibia continues to develop, there is likely to be a re-evaluation of who is considered a hero. So factors such as changing societal values, new historical research, and the need to recognize a more diverse area of contributions to the nation may drive this re-evaluation. So as the country moves forward, there may be an increased focus on everyday heroes who make significant impacts in their communities, because heroes are made in the present and mostly remembered in the future. So whoever is making a lot of changes currently is most likely to be remembered in the future years to come. Of course, the heroes from the liberation struggle will be remembered for a long time, but space is also currently being created for current heroes, people who are making current change or positive change for society. So those are most likely to be remembered more compared to the many heroes that we currently know and remember from pre-independence Namibia.
Now, lastly, Haitula, as a historian, what do you believe is the most important takeaway for Namibians when reflecting on their national heroes, especially on Heroes Day, 26 August 2024?
Okay, I think the most important takeaway for Namibians when reflecting on their national heroes, especially on Heroes Day, as you rightfully put it, is to appreciate the diverse ways in which individuals have contributed to the nation's past and present. It's a time to honor the sacrifices made for freedom and to recognize that heroism can take many forms, inspiring future generations to contribute positively to the country, and also to be, to work towards common goals, understand what the country wants and what will work best for the greater society. We have achieved our independence, but there is still a lot of work that we need to do in terms of economic emancipation. Still have challenges within our society in terms of health, education. So those are some of the things that we need to look back and appreciate where we are and start putting in the effort to put in work into the Namibia that we all want.